The Thunderbolt is probably one of the best mechs to build our battle lances around, Commander. Its diverse armament means it can perform nearly any mission we need it to, and it's also one of the easiest of heavy mechs to keep operational. Let's go over its stats in BattleTech Classic and how to pilot the Thunderbolt to its maximum potential. After that, I'll show you an experimental design that'll transform this already impressive battle mech into a weapon worthy of a Greek god. Production year? 2491, Star League era. Name? Thunderbolt, TDR-5S. Weight? 65 tons. Faction? All Inner Sphere. Role? Brawler. Originally designed for planetary assaults, the Thunderbolt is armed to the teeth with a Delta Dart LRM-15 and Sunglow Type 2 large laser for long to mid-range. It has 3 diverse optics Type 18 medium lasers and a Baikal SRM-2 rack for brawling. Finally, the Thunderbolt carries 2 Volker's 200 machine guns to do moderate damage to infantry. Availability-wise, the Thunderbolt is a popular design. It makes up between 5 to 14% of all heavy mechs deployed by the Great Houses. It's been produced from 5 different factories throughout the Inner Sphere, notably 2 of which are located in the Tauran Concordant, who frequently sell them to mercenary outfits like ourselves. Since all the successor states use the Thunderbolt, procurement of replacement parts will be relatively easy. The chassis is also known to be very reliable, requiring only a third of the maintenance compared to other battle mechs of its size. Choosing this mech over other options would mean the mech techs and I would have more time to play poker in the back. Take on any other custom projects you may have in mind. Offensively, the Thunderbolt can fight at any range, but it thrives when it's brawling at 6 hexes or less. It is a low penetration for a heavy mech with its single large laser, but good critical hit potential with its multiple weapons. Its multi-track quirk allows the Thunderbolt to fight 2 targets at once without any loss of accuracy, and that opens up interesting opportunities for maximizing damage. Defensively, the Thunderbolt is heavily armored, but the ammunition that's spread across its 3 internal locations are a concern. In particular, the LRM launcher's 2 tons of ammunition in the center torso puts the Thunderbolt at risk of a through armor critical hit during a brawl. While a rookie pilot will accept this risk, a skilled pilot will eject ammunition at the proper times to raise their defense. We'll be covering how to do this properly in our pilot guide coming up. Mobility-wise, the Thunderbolt has a speed of 460. This is standard for a brawler of its size, but may cause it to struggle in heavy terrain. Its LRM-15 helps compensate for this by being able to fire indirectly as the Thunderbolt runs into position. When thinking about lance compositions, the Thunderbolt works best when partnered with a bodyguard mech like a Centurion or Vindicator. These are mechs that can intercept flankers and fight alongside the Thunderbolt against heavier opponents. The Thunderbolt should also be assisted by mechs carrying good piercing weapons, like the double PPCs of a Marauder to help punch through enemy armor. A balanced lance composition may add a Wolverine for flanking and crit seeking, but the Thunderbolt's design lets it play into many different strategies, such as being the blocker for an LRM composition, or as part of a heavier assault lance for line breaking. While I have yet to analyze all the heavy mechs available to us, Commander, I feel I can rate the Thunderbolt a B-tier mech as an initial grade. It's tough, easy to resupply, and can be used in many different strategies. Its ammunition vulnerability and potential heat issues can be compensated for with good piloting. Of the variants available to us, the most notable is the 5SE, used by the famous Iridani Light Horse Mercenary unit. It's a decent variant that adds 4 jump jets so it can move easily in any type of terrain, but sacrifices offense and the ability to fight infantry in exchange. I think the mech techs and I have created a design that's even better than that though, but first let's go over how to pilot the original design to its maximum potential. As mechs are entering the battlefield, the Thunderbolt should be activated in the middle or late in the initiative. Its placement will often determine where the main battle will take place, and its relative slowness will make it difficult for the Thunderbolt to reposition. Faster mechs should be placed first to make it difficult for the enemy to guess our actual intention. The Thunderbolt pilot has 2 goals at the start of the battle. The first is to run to a position where it can brawl with other mechs at 6 hexes or less. This should be a position with cover and with a clear line of sight to its target. Its second goal is to fire off at least a ton of LRM ammunition before combat closes to 6 hexes. This will halve the chance of a through armor critical hit to the center torso, instantly destroying the Thunderbolt. Pilots should shoot their LRM-15 at every opportunity, even if the chance to hit is very low. It has more than enough ammunition for a single battle. As the Thunderbolt gets into position, it should fire its LRM-15 and large laser as it runs. It can run and fire both of these weapons while remaining at 0 heat. If forced to fight outside its ideal 6 hex range for a time, it can fire its medium laser every few rounds, but it should generally try to keep its heat low before the brawl starts. Sometime before the Thunderbolt enters brawl range, that is 6 hexes or less, the pilot should decide if they're going to dump ammunition. This will raise the Thunderbolt's defense to levels that rival some assault mechs at the cost of some offense. Dumping the machine gun and SRM ammunition will only moderately impact damage output, and if the pilot is in a desperate situation where they need to hold at all costs, they can also dump the LRM ammunition. As a rule of thumb, if a location has 10 or less armor, the Thunderbolt should dump ammunition there. Once inside 6 hexes, pilots should slowly push their heat to 12 over time to maximize their sustained damage. Pilots can moderate their heat by choosing when to fire the additional medium laser or SRM-2, or spike their heat to fire additional weapons when their opponent makes a mistake. At 4 to 6 hex range, pilots can choose between 2 shooting modes, one for piercing and one for critting. Once range closes to 3 hexes or less, pilots should fire all their Brawl weapons and add their large laser in every other turn. Although more situational, they can also take advantage of their multi-track quirk and fire their LRM-15 at a secondary target while brawling. If this information was helpful to you, Commander, please subscribe to this channel for more tactical insights. Now let's go over to the mech bay, and I'll show you a simple refit that make this mech much more suitable for us mercenaries. We're designating this experimental Thunderbolt TDR/X1 and naming it Stormbreaker. This change is intended to improve the defense, offense, and utility of the Thunderbolt by removing weapons with the worst risk to reward ratio. We're swapping the 2 machine guns for 2 flamethrowers, and removing the SRM-2 for 2 additional heat sinks. The refit is dirt cheap, costing 19,000 C-Bells, or less than 0.5% of the Thunderbolt's total cost. It's a 6-day, Class B field refit, meaning we can get it done without any specialized facilities. We just need a crane and our standard tools. The rebuild improves the defense of the Thunderbolt by removing all its ammunition except for the 2 tons in the center torso. It doubles the damage it can do against infantry, and its 2 additional heat sinks means the redesign does more damage than the original if the pilot had to eject the machine gun or SRM ammo.